What's up guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is my review of the MBRP Street Catback Exhaust fitting 2015 and up fastback EcoBoost Mustangs. The MBRP Street Catback is going to be a great option for the S550 EcoBoost owners out there that are looking for a deep sounding system that isn't over the top or too loud. This system gives the closest thing to what I'd call a muscle car sound from an EcoBoost. It's a deep sounding catback that doesn't have any raspiness to it, and it sounds different than a lot of the other catbacks for the EcoBoost that are out there right now. Like most setups, this catback is going to eliminate the factory resonator and replace it with just a Y pipe. MBRP has included their street mufflers, and this setup is going to give a sound that's like the MBRP Race Catback, but with less volume, as you guys already heard from the sound clips. So MBRP has a few options for the EcoBoost Mustang, and they're all hitting that lower price range, which is nice to see. MBRP gives you some options as far as material, which we'll talk about in a minute here, but you also have the option of the Street Catback, which is this one right here, or the Race Catback, and the difference is going to be in the sound. The Street and Race Catback are similar in sound, but the Street Catback is quieter than the Race Catback is, but I wouldn't really say that the Race Catback is quiet in the grand scheme of things. It has some volume to it for sure. Like I said before, and this is in line with what we're typically seeing with aftermarket catbacks from the EcoBoost, this catback is going to eliminate the factory resonator and replace it with a standard Y pipe. Removing this resonator is going to have a bunch of performance benefits. You're looking at sound and power improvements, and as Ford Racing has reminded us, even some weight benefits. Dropping that resonator and replacing it with a Y pipe is going to drop some easy weight, and that's just a nice little bonus that you get from swapping over to the system. This is a 3-inch system that can work with both the stock or an aftermarket downpipe, so you're seeing a bump up in size here with the MBRP system, and this is one of the only catbacks that's a 3-inch. Most of what's out there right now is either going to be stock size, so 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 inch, so it's nice to see a 3-inch system here, especially for a turbo car. And this system that we have here is the full stainless steel catback. MBRP also offers the Street Catback with aluminized piping instead, and within that they give you two options. Either powder coated from the muffler assembly portion back or polished. Just keep in mind that material will have a factor on the price, which I'll break down some more in a minute. So with this type of basic Y pipe to a muffler setup, all of the sound and what's going to make this catback different from the rest is going to be in the mufflers. Like I said earlier, MBRP has their street mufflers on this system. So the Y pipe's going to open up exhaust flow for the street mufflers, which are a lot like the Race Series mufflers, but just more refined. And I'm sure you picked up on this when you heard the sound clips earlier. And so far from what I've heard, my overall impression of this catback is that it does one of the best jobs of creating an aggressive sound, and this is a definite improvement over stock. At idle, you can hear that this catback is deeper than the factory exhaust, and even as the RPMs start climbing, this is able to keep the deepness in the tone, and that's a feature that I haven't seen from many other catbacks. I keep mentioning this, but the Street Catback is going to sound along the same lines of the Race Catback, but just quieter. So if you really like the Race Catback from MBRP, but it's just a little too loud for you, then this is an excellent choice for you. This catback gives a smooth sound, and I didn't hear any sound distortion at all. There is a little popping on decel from the higher RPMs, but I think it just adds to the sound. It doesn't take away from it because it isn't over the top. And even though this catback does have some volume to it, there's no interior drone. You almost don't even notice that there's an aftermarket exhaust on the car at cruising speeds, so that means you won't have any trouble having a conversation or listening to the radio on the highway, and so you won't have to worry about dealing with drone on trips. So like most aftermarket catbacks, this one's going to open up some of that nice turbo noise, but I did notice that the deepness of this system drowns out a lot of that noise. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but it's going to be a little hard to consistently hear the turbo spool throughout the entire RPM range if that's important to you, but you do hear some of it and you still hear the blow off. With all of that being said, you have to keep in mind that this is a 4-cylinder turbo car. It's not going to sound like a V8. But this catback does have that clean, deep type of sound that's relatable to the sound of a V8, so if that's what you're looking for, then you're looking in the right place. Overall, if you're looking for a louder, deep sounding system, then this could be a good option for you. This is a powerful sound that does have a deep growl to it. While it's not the loudest of the aftermarket options, it's still pretty loud, and so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on the loudness scale. With catbacks, it really all depends on what you're looking for, and luckily there are quite a few options out there. But like I mentioned earlier, MBRP gives you 3 different options when it comes to the Street Catback. This one is the stainless steel version, which is going to be a complete 409 stainless steel construction, and it's going to be the most expensive of the 3 options, costing $700. Then there are 2 aluminized steel versions of this catback, either in polished or powder coated black, and while both of these options are less expensive than the stainless steel option, The black powder-coated one is more pricey and only costs a few dollars less than the stainless steel. The regular aluminized steel catback, on the other hand, is going to cost just over $600. But there are benefits of going with a powder-coated, or better yet, the stainless steel version, especially if your car is a daily driver. These are going to give you some corrosion resistance. And even if you go for the most expensive option, these are still the least expensive catback options for the EcoBoost that are available right now. When it comes to the install, you're going to be looking at an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the scale when we look at difficulty. This is considered a direct bolt-on item, so you won't need to cut anything or modify anything to get it installed. All they're really going to need is a socket set, and a lift would certainly make things easier, but the job can be done on stands as well. You're going to be removing your exhaust from the resonator back, and an extra set of hands can make things easier for you here. You'll be moving over your hangers to the new catback, so I'd recommend taking them off with the factory exhaust when you drop that. It'll only make the swap a little easier. The only other thing you'll reuse is the front clamp off of the resonator for the front of the new catback. The whole catback can be dropped as one big piece, which is why an extra set of hands can really help here. And when you go to install your new setup, it'll probably be easiest to start from the front and move back. So install the Y mid-pipe area first, then the intermediate pipes and the muffler assemblies, and I'd leave everything loose until you have it all lined up and then tighten it down. The catback does come with 4 new clamps, so you won't have to worry about picking those up, and you can figure on spending about an hour or 2 from start to finish to get all of this done. Overall, the MBRP catback is a great option for those looking for a deep sound but not wanting a system that's going to be too loud. This catback is going to replace the factory resonator with a Y pipe that'll ultimately drop some weight and open up both exhaust flow and power. This is also a 3-inch catback that comes complete and is a direct bolt-on install that requires no cutting. You can check this catback out online some more for yourself, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.